So before we go to the second forum, the topic of second forum is financial freedom, right? So financial freedom is not the end goal. It is a mindset shift that allows us to create a life of abundance and purpose. As a woman, I aspire to be having financial freedom, some crazy dreams, loyal friends, a peaceful family, peace at heart, and the privilege to help others. With due respect to all the men present here and the men in our lives, the joy of loving a strong and financially independent woman is knowing that she values you for who you are. She chooses you for who you are and not because she needs you. She can rely on herself, but she admires and respects you because of who you are. Right? Well, my mother always used to tell me that a woman must be financially independent so that she can live life in her own terms. We never know what life can throw on us, which curveball it can spin on us. So we as women must be able to take care of ourselves, our family, those we love, when life happens without being helpless. And hence the topic of financial freedom, financial independence. Let's get started on that. The topic is financial independence, women in business and entrepreneurship. Exploring the journey of female entrepreneurs, business leaders, and the importance of economic empowerment. I shall now call upon our moderator for this session, Madhusmita Nayak. Madhusmita Nayak is a senior corporate strategy and performance manager. She is also the host of the Re-Engineered Club, a unique storytelling platform that captures the transformative journey of individuals. She is also my dear friend and a patient who somehow invariably manages and loves to get on the dental chair from the wrong side. Welcome, Madhusmita. Would you like to say something, Madhusmita? Let's get started.
Wait for the right moment, because what advice she gave just now, financial freedom, I think she's the reason why I don't have. So yeah, thank you, Munmun.
I'm bleeding your pocket, huh? Ignorance isn't bliss everywhere, by the way. Let's call upon our speaker, Otima Bhanot. Otima Bhanot is an exceptional entrepreneur known for her innovative approach to business and her ability to drive success across the pharma industry, where she has successfully made her mark with a keen eye for identifying opportunities and a strategic mindset. Otima has built a legacy of excellence and leadership. Please welcome on stage and kindly be seated. Our next speaker, may I please call upon Malachi Halliday. Sir Malachi Halliday is a multi-award winning MSME funding and sustainability expert. He provides capital to UAE-based B2B post-break-even businesses. His specialty is identifying practical solutions for capital access, capital efficiency, and profit-aligned social impact. Welcome, sir. I hope I pronounced your name right. Forgive me if I haven't. Well, let's welcome our next speaker, Lynn Dowdel. Lynn Dowdel is a dynamic speaker, wine and spirit curator, and luxury experience consultant. As a founder of Win Collective and Dowdel Experience, she travels globally to deliver engaging talks on customer experience and satisfaction and client engagement. Welcome. Let's start to call now our last speaker, Paola Surdo Maldini. Paola Surdo Maldini is an entrepreneur and advocate for natural care solutions. She has made her mark by making her brand No More Lies a booming success. Welcome, Paola. Let's get started.
Thank you, Dr. Munmun, and very good evening to all of you. And I think it's going to be a very power-packed conversation because the brilliant panelists that we have with us, they have not only redefined success in their respective industries, but they have reshaped the definition of financial freedom. There are different stages of financial freedom, and today we'll be understanding from all four of you. And also we have Mr. Deepak in our audience, so he's also master of financial freedom, and also we will be having a very insightful. And before we start our conversation, my question to all of you, in your definition, what does financial freedom personally means to you? We can start with you, Otima.
A very good evening, everyone. Firstly, thank you, Nausheen, for this opportunity. Well, financial freedom is something which is very, very close to me. I'm the daughter of a gynecologist, so obviously I know what financial freedom is since I was little. Well, it is the ability that gives a woman to choose her career or her life with purpose, not pressure. As simple as that. It gives us a peace of mind where we know that, we can take care of our family, we can invest in our passion, and at the same time, where we can have the ability to walk out of a situation that doesn't serve our purpose. As simple as that.
So true. It's like not getting bound to any boundaries, rather choose your passion.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Malachi, what about you?
Of course. For me, it's really about having the ability or freedom to help those people that you really want to help, whether that be family, whether that be in the business community. For us, we're funding social impact businesses, which is a privilege and a luxury to be a part of the journeys of so many founders. So for us, it's really that optionality and freedom.
I would say that financial freedom is to be able to take care of your family, of course yourself, number one, because if you're not taking care of yourself, how can you possibly take care of others? But also, I like what Malachi said, to be able to give back. One thing that I do is I do a lot of volunteering, and also helping to organize events and situations where that I can absolutely give back, and also leave a legacy for my children.
So true, leaving a legacy behind.
Yeah, I can say that I agree with all of them. And when I start my journey as an entrepreneur, I had no idea where this was going to go because my business started as a need. So I had experience with lice issue with my kids, and then as I didn't know where to go and what to do, so then I've been an employee for all my life. So when I started, I had no idea of what a business plan means, or calculating all costs and profits, or like I really started as I wanted to help people. But then, of course, slowly by slowly, I managed to understand that it was giving me the freedom to organize more my free time and to organize my family needs. So it was really helpful for all of us. Yeah.
It's so true, like it's not about when you always start a business, like we are so pro in defining balance sheets, profit and loss statement, and how beautifully you started with small requirement, that is lice, and you're a co-founder of Normal Lice. And question to you would be like, do you think it's really required that when we start our entrepreneurship journey, always the mindset is financial freedom, but it comes with many financial challenges?
Yes.
How do you navigate that?
Actually, really, I didn't have at that time the need to think that I had to provide myself. So as I started, let's say that I was lucky enough to say, okay, if it works, it's fine. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world.
Okay.
So this is a very big opportunity. I really loved the speech of Lynn before, when she was talking about the support of having family, or especially the husband. So thanks to my lovely husband. Yeah, he's a really big fan of me, and he's supporting me in everything. So the challenge was big because, of course, when you are in a foreigner country and you have to rent a space to provide the salary for other people, so you're not anymore how can I say, responsible for yourself and your choice, but you have people to help. So they are helping you, and you need to be sure that you will provide monthly, regularly, the salary for them. So the challenge was not only for myself, but was also not to to see that other people was thinking, oh, what is this lady doing, you know? So, and I, as the topic was really strange, so nobody was here in all GCC dealing with this topic, and there is a lot of shame to talk about it, so I had no idea if it was going to work or not. So I started saying to my girls, I said, girls, let's try to see what will happen. So.
Yeah, and you scaled it up. And before I move to the next question, I think your husband deserves a round of applause. So
yes,
please.
yes. I love you, honey. Thank you.
And you have a beautiful toy in your hand that represents lice?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So all the business is because my kids had this issue, and I really had no idea who to ask for help. And they became, because I was dealing for more than a year, especially with my daughter. She will kill me if she will say that I'm talking about her only. But then she was so used to having lice for more than a year that she started drawing them. So then this was what she was drawing, and then I found a company that they were realizing. And as the rubber duck, all of us, we used to work with play with the rubber duck. So my husband, again, he said, like, why don't we do like a toy, it's like a squishy, that the kids can be...
And they can represent that and relate.
Yes, so we did it on the shape that my daughter was, as she was 7 years old. And I can say that this is helping a lot, because especially the moms, they are scared, they're like, I don't know, it's related to personal hygiene, which is not true, or like we are scared, the kids are scared. It's still animals, living in your head.
It's so good to see that how it has created an identity, and
they're friends.
Yeah. And coming back to Otima, like starting from this NML, which is on personal, and coming to a healthcare industry, which is so much capital intensive, and you really need to research a lot, and we talk about so much of ROI and all this in this industry, and you have done a lot of government partnerships in this healthcare industry. So how did you navigate funding, pricing, and also standing up as a financial model in such a regulated industry?
Such a tough question.
Not for you, because you have done brilliant in your industry.
Thank you so much. But it was not easy. Firstly, because it's a very male-dominated industry, pharmaceutical. And many times I've been asked this question, you are a woman and you are the CEO of a pharmaceutical company? I said, yes, I am. Well, having said that, yes, again, the best part is that UAE is a very regulated market when it comes to pharmaceutical. Everything is very well modulated by the ministry. So certain things were very well taken care of with regards to registration, the end user pricing, etc. Getting the funding was definitely challenging in the initial stages for simple reason. In an era of AIs and blockchains, and where there is quick ROIs that every investor is looking at, pharmaceutical has a longer gestation period. It's a very sustainable business, but it takes longer for it to get realized. And once it kickstarts, there's nothing stopping. So obviously that convincing part and those pitches were pretty relentless, and it was sleepless nights. But at the moment, we have almost about 30 plus SKUs in our portfolio and another 15 to 20 in the pipeline and registration. We keep a very niche focus in oncology and CNS sector, which is the forward-looking sector. I was just discussing something with some of the fellow colleagues, and even Lynn for that matter. Most of the research or most of the innovation that is happening today in today's world is primarily in the cardiovascular and the diabetology section. There is very little which is going in the women's healthcare. There's so much that needs to be done. And when I started this with the mission that I will have a full vertical catering to the women's healthcare. To my dismay and to my, I've still not succeeded in that. There is a lot of things which are there, but it's just very specifically innovative dominated. Generics, so the first generics that we specialize in, still lagging behind. Lot of supplement markets, the OTC market, what we call. However, there is a lot of innovations, lot that needs to get in. And since it's the Forum for Women's Conference, this is a mission that we need to. I don't know if there are more healthcare professionals here. But
How many healthcare professionals we have in the room? Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. I'll speak to you later. And there is this gap. And I hope the industry people, they realize this, especially where the innovation happens, the US and the Europes. And then we can really revolutionize and bring about this change.
And this is a very powerful insight, like you said, that very, very minimal representation of women we have.
Absolutely.
And
what is the pharma industry?
In the pharma industry, yes. And what is the root cause for that? One of the most driving factor.
A lot of women are there in the research of the pharmaceutical products. We take pioneers and scientists and people who go into the R&D world. But when it comes to the marketing, sales, and promotion, probably it has been how the industry has evolved. Things are changing. We have a CEO in the GSK who's a lady. So things are changing. I have myself who's in a lady, things are changing. And I think more women entrepreneurs and more women from the pharmaceutical industry, they need to bring themselves forward in this.
And come together, collaborate, and make it move it forward. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And to all the entrepreneurs in this room now, I think the most wanted person will be Malachi, because he is funding 2,000 startups, right? So he's in a mission to fund and mentor 2,000 startups. And saying that, what in your experience you have seen as most of the entrepreneurs do as a mistake?
Sorry, I'm just still so much in shock. We funded a med supplies company. I'm just so excited to chat with Otima after the event, because it's exactly the sort of business that we want to fund. A common challenge or a mistake that we see with businesses that come to us for funding and that they continue to make is making assumptions about the revenue that they think they're going to get. But then when that's paid late, maybe because their B2B customers are paying 30 days later or 60 days later, very normal here, these sorts of things create massive disruptions to the business. And it's one thing to be able to have a great product, it's one thing to sell very well, even to be able to organize funding. But if you make cash flow plans based on getting your clients to pay you, and they pay you a lot later than you expect, and you don't have that buffer, we've unfortunately seen so many businesses come to us from a position of trouble rather than from a position of growth. So I'd say that the biggest thing really is having that certainty around your customer payments. And if I can give one bit of advice or a little bit of advice around ensuring you do get paid on time, like with what Otima was talking about, we're having like a really niche product, something I think you mentioned oncology, something where with a product or service where if you stop supplying it, something happens to your clients. They have to pay you. Unfortunately, of course, it's good to have contracts. It's good to have relationships with whoever you're selling to at a human level, but also having that product or service. So a lot of our portfolio, all of it, they have an ability, whether it's service-based or in the supply chain, to cease providing that good or service, and then, it means something here, unfortunately. So that would be the biggest thing, is make sure you can collect on time and make plans accordingly.
So as you correctly said, like we as a woman, or this is mostly showcased in women, like they focus on revenue more than receivables and collection?
Absolutely. One challenge we've also seen, because I'm funding B2B businesses especially, is I think there are more women-owned business owners that are in the B2C space. B2B has been more traditionally male-dominated. And even coming back to the medical space, it's been really hard for women-owned businesses to get funding, because a lot of the funders are men. And unfortunately, there is just a reality of business and life that people are more likely to buy from you or more likely to invest in you if they understand where you're coming from, your product, they understand you, they relate to you. And obviously, like, femtech is probably the most underfunded sector, at least that I'm aware of. And unfortunately, that's in some part because like a lot of the VCs and funders like myself, it's something that we don't understand. A lot of it is foreign concepts to us. So over time, when there is more representation, it will have a material impact on the funding that's available. And hopefully that also reflects in all the different types of funding, whether it be equity, revenue-based finance, debt, or anything else.
Different forums, yeah.
I'd just like to add something, but thanks for the insightful thing. Yes, the top line matters, and when we go for asking for funding and the pitches, that's what they like to see, the top line and the EBITDA. What are you left with?
Yeah.
And yes, women entrepreneurs have it very difficult to get the funding. 15 years I've been an entrepreneur, previously into fitness and wellness industry, and now into pharmaceutical industry. So yes, the challenges do exist.
True. So understanding of the financial statements and EBITDA, IRR, and all this matters. And that also was underscored by a market study which showed that, like, you know, almost majority, there is a surge in female entrepreneurship. But what is the biggest roadblock is getting funding. Women are not getting funding. It's just because they are not able to represent the financials correctly?
There's so much more to it than just representing the financials well. That is a big hurdle for all founders. I wouldn't necessarily hold that against women founders or women-owned businesses. But the whole capital access system here in this market, it's built to disadvantage the micro enterprise, not through any deliberate effort, but a lot of funding requires, you know, it's who you know, what assets do you have to back up that access to capital. It's what traditional markers of success do you have. And when it comes to founders from backgrounds that are a little less funded or less known, and that's what we do. We're funding all founders from backgrounds that aren't typically getting access to capital, which is certain people from certain countries, which I won't get into on stage publicly. The people from certain backgrounds have trouble. Women founders have trouble. People with that don't have assets that they can put on as security have trouble. So it's really challenging to get started. But once you do get started and you have that first win, that momentum can carry you.
And
through.
you learn in the process.
Learn so much in the process.
Yeah. Thank you. And my next question to Lynn will be, because you work so much closely with the community, what do you think the role of community investors, mentors should be to help women who are in that founding stage of starting something that they dream of?
Absolutely. One of the things that I think that women they have to be more, I would say, validated, twice as much validated, so that they're seen viable. And a lot of times we're missing the link of, we have entrepreneurship, we have mentorship, but as they were talking about the funding backing, we don't have that financial funding backing. So we need more women in leadership positions and those positions where actually the funding is coming from, so access to the capital. We also need to have where whatever the woman is doing, whatever their business is, whatever their brand is, that it is visible, it is acknowledged, because visibility is credibility. And if without that, you know, it's hard to come up, it's hard to state your claim of who you are, why it matters economically, globally, and socially. So you have to look at those factors. I'm a mentor for the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center, and I see a lot of women and how they engage strategic storytelling, and that helps them in a way where they're able not only to say what they do, but why they do it and why it matters. And when they're looking into those things, and when you see people such as Malachi coming up wanting to help fund a business, they're able to see where they're coming from and how they can best represent their brand and the product or the service that they have. So I think visibility, being viable, acknowledging the space that we are in and acknowledging one another is very much needed, and us being in those leadership roles where we have access to the capital and we can move us in to the spaces where we belong.
Collaborate and create a bigger community. And I think, as I'm signaled by Nosheen that we are running out of time, I'll just wrap up with the last question. Like, for our audience and for the people who are still aspiring to start something but they're still stuck? What is that one message that you want to give them today?
Personally, I think that there is the big need on having a story to tell, as you were saying. Businesses are more or less all the same. Like there's rather you sell a product or a service, it's difficult to have like the idea that about something that doesn't exist all over the world. So what makes the difference, according to my experience, is that you have the knowledge for sure, but especially you have a story to tell. So why do people need to trust you, to come to you? Because you strongly believe. Because sometimes, there is like people that sell clothes, but they don't wear it. So it's like, are you sure you're doing what you really believe in?
Yes.
So you need to give the trust to people that what you do is really what, okay, said that by me, it's a little bit because I could never imagine that an animal would be my life, like something like lice would give me like, you really need to, I really believe that this service is needed, like that lady that I saw, and I was thinking like, okay, if she wants to make up this business, selling those clothes, and she doesn't wear it, so doesn't
So walk
give
the
me...
talk on authentic storytelling.
Yes, yes.
Brilliant. And how about you, Lynn?
Well, in my Elevate framework, I talk about the A for affirm and the T. The T is for, what is it? Oh, it's suspense. Well, to affirm and acknowledge the company, the customer that you're working with, and also to transfer and transform what you have to offer them and what you're giving them. It makes a big difference when we give back and when we show them what we have and how we're going to execute it to them. So again, that storytelling, letting them know what you have to offer, and being, I want to say it like this.
Transfer and grow and
Right.
see.
But not just after the transaction, what happens after the transaction. So we want to make sure that we acknowledge that from the beginning, that post feedback, 30 days, 90 days, we want to keep that knowledge with them and let them know that you're not just there for that one transaction type situation, but you're there to follow through and see it through.
Thank you so much, and I think it was quite inspiring. And anything both of you want to share before we wind up?
Very quickly, I also loved your line about visibility is credibility. That was such a sweet line. But one thing from me is if anyone does want some advice on funding, feel free to reach out. I'll just give like a complimentary half an hour. Especially women-owned businesses, we've been trying to fund more and more, and it's been really challenging for us over the years. So feel welcome to reach out. Cheers.
Just one little thing. Since the discussion is on financial freedom, we should all remember that money is a tool, not the goal, right? And
Absolutely.
we should always use the ethical ways to earn the money.
So true, so true. And thank you so much. And I think they all deserve a big round of applause for such beautiful insights. And thank you, lovely audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, dear speakers and dear moderator Madhu. Now I please call upon Nosheen to felicitate our moderator and speakers.